we could come back to the White House for a minute.
Oh, yes.
Via one question about truth in your own works. Truth is obviously a big theme today.
Yeah.
And you've said a lot that the novel can be a way of exposing the truth, even if it's fiction, and that sometimes fiction exposes the truth better than nonfiction. What is your take on the importance today of fiction, given the crisis state of truth in our world today? Is fiction even more important in that regard?
It's I think, a very, very problematic time for anybody writing anything, really, because it's unprecedented, I think, in this country for there to be an attack on, in a way, on the nature of reality itself. You know, that things which all of us accepted, we thought, as so, you know, are now being questioned. You know, you have people in the Environmental Protection Agency who don't believe in climate change. And the idea of there being scientific fact, the idea of there being evidence-based reality, you know, is under a great deal of attack.
And experts have no credibility anymore.
Yes, the more you know, the more suspect you are. You know, you become an elite. And of course, there's something really ridiculous about this government of billionaires referring to scholars and journalists as elites, when there's really never been a government in this country in which more personal wealth has been concentrated into the small...
Everywhere, the Treasury Secretary, the Education Secretary, everywhere.
Billionaires everywhere, but we're the elites. You know? They're the people who have who know about what ordinary life is like. You know, I mean, ask Betsy DeVos what a liter of milk costs, what a pint of milk costs.
No, like we had the croissant problem in France.
Yes.
But, yeah.
You know, so the world is upside down. And I think there's a lot of questions that, I mean, novelists that I know have been wrestling with, which is, in a world where we're surrounded on an almost daily basis by colossal lies, so where do we get off making up things that aren't true? You know, I mean, it's a problem, you know, and I think that you can only begin to get towards the answer by understanding that there is a difference between fiction and lies. For a start, literature, fiction tells you that it's made up.
It's honest about what it is.
Yes, it doesn't claim to be fact. You know, it says this is a different thing, and through this different thing, which is not factual, we can understand truths about human nature and about the kind of world we live in. But we're not pretending that these are real people and that these things actually happened. You know, so just the upfrontness of it is different. Whereas, you know, in the public sphere right now, we have lies trying to insist that they are in fact true. You know, and that's a bigger moral problem.
That's a bigger moral problem, but we also seem to have a complete disrespect for the truth, as if it has no value. So it's not even a question of we're pretending something's true. It's that whether something's true or not doesn't seem to have any importance anymore.
Unfortunately, that's not just a problem coming out of the administration. It's a larger problem in the culture, you know, because one of the side effects of the internet, where all kinds of garbage is out there all the time, existing at the same level of reality as hard information, it becomes very difficult, I think, for many people to work that out, to watch what is garbage and what is truth.
Well, particularly when the ranking process is how many likes, how many, you know, where is it on the Google hierarchy?
Exactly.
It's not a question of what's the quality.
Yeah, no, and then there are some sites which know about clickbait, you know, and which therefore get more clicks, but doesn't mean that they're more truthful. So I think there is a real problem in the culture which this administration is able to exploit, that there is a real puzzlement, confusion about the nature of reality.
So what's the best defense against post-truth? Or as you once said recently, sort of the state armed and at war with the fourth estate? Well,
I mean, I think we just have to fight the fight, you know. I mean, one of the things I think is encouraging is the way in which quite large numbers of people are flocking back towards the so-called fake news, towards the failed New York Times. You know,
the New York Times is getting a boost in
yes, I mean, the circulation of the Times has gone up dramatically since the inauguration, and you know, Vanity Fair magazine is given such a boost every time it's attacked by a presidential tweet that they now use the presidential tweets in their advertising. You know?
Did not know that.
In a way, one of the few good things to arise from this situation is that there seems to be a new energy in the world of news media. You know, people seem to be really charged up. You know, and that's good. And all of us, I think, just have to keep speaking. You know, and try. We have to win this argument. We have to persuade America. You know, that there are things which are so, and there are other things which are not so. You know, and that it's the truth is not simply what the president says it is. You know,
And that the institutions that make this country, as he says, great,
yeah,
depend on truth.
depend on truth. And he doesn't seem to understand which institutions those are. You know, I mean, that's to say you have an administration which is passionate about the Second Amendment, but appears to be less passionate about the First
The
Amendment.
First Amendment. Right.
You know? And one suspects that before we're done, they might have to start taking the Fifth Amendment. You know, that's also likely to happen.